Hi, this is Colby Boothman from Jurassic World, and you're listening to the Jurassic Unicast.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Jurassic Unicast. I'm Steve, and with me today is James Hawkins. How's it going, mate?
Good, I'm good, thanks.
Oh, good. So today we have a very special guest with us. You Jurassic fans will know him as the guy that almost got eaten by the raptors. It's Colby Boothman. Welcome, Colby.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for coming.
Both been looking forward to having a little nice chat with you. We spoke.
Yeah, be fun.
We spoke a few times on Twitter, haven't we? So it's been good to finally meet you in person, face to face. It's always good.
Yeah, this is about as face to face as it gets in today's world. For those of you watching years down the line, this is COVID time, so we're doing what we can.
Yeah.
Everything's okay on your end. Everyone keeping safe.
Yeah. The U.S. is thrown into, as Ian Malcolm would put it, complete chaos. But we're doing our best. We're just staying inside as much as we can and watching as many movies as we possibly can and burning through every single Netflix show in the process.
Yeah. Oh, we know the feeling.
Oh yeah, that and Disney Plus and everything else. You start running out of things to watch, don't you? After a while, you end up binge watching everything you can, and then what do we do now? And then you can't go out. So, because I think the rules are slightly different over in the States than over here. We're seem to be a bit more lenient. Over in America, you seem to be a bit more strict with what you can and can't do.
No, it's been pretty open to what you can do. It's just things you shouldn't do, and people are not heeding any caution, and it's gonna hurt us in the long run. It's not great, but we're making the best of it.
Yeah. Let's hope we get out of this, and we'll be okay.
So, Steve, did you want to start? You've got something you'd like to ask Colby to start with, didn't you?
Yeah, so before we get into your time working on Jurassic World, you have done some pretty awesome things, from being that annoying guy in Hot Tub Time Machine 2. You were at the wedding, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Classic scene. And also, which I thought was pretty good, your sword skills on, I think you're teaching the Mythbusters how to use the lightsabers, weren't you?
Yeah, I was really fortunate to be able to work on that. It was cool to be in the final season of Mythbusters, and I got to teach Adam and Jamie how to sword fight, specifically the choreography style of Star Wars, which was taught to me by Nick Gillard, the sword master and stunt coordinator of the Star Wars prequels.
Mate, that's amazing. How long did it take to learn how to fight like the Jedi?
It's not overnight. I can get started with fencing, which I started. I first started taking fencing when I was about 11 years old, and I started getting into competition pretty quickly thereafter. Competing, like national and international levels of competition, and I can definitely say that fencing helped me develop the skills that I needed to be able to learn the choreography a lot more quickly than your average person might. The actual choreography didn't take me too long to learn it. I was able to learn the episode 3 fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan in about a day. It took me about a few days to master that fight scene, which is not normal by any means.
No.
Hayden and Ewan, they trained for weeks to be able to do the fights for Star Wars, and they did it quite brilliantly. They became really masters of the sword. They weren't just going through the motions, and there was no camera tricks there. They actually had to slow down some of the shots because they were moving so quickly that they wanted to make sure that the audience could comprehend what was going on there.
That's
so
crazy.
they were masterful in what they did on camera, and huge props to them for being able to learn what they did and to put in the dedication that it takes to really learn the sword fighting of Star Wars.
And sell it as well, because it's got to be believable as well. As
Yeah.
well, so
Yeah.
how much of a big fan of Star Wars are you yourself?
I mean, I'd say I'd probably got into fencing because of Star Wars.
Oh, nice.
I think I was about 6 years old when The Phantom Menace came out, and just that Darth Maul, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan fight just was like, okay, I want to do that. And the closest thing I could find to being a Jedi was fencing. So,
to be fair, it probably is, isn't it?
I started to learn.
That's crazy.
I've done a bit of fencing myself.
I carried through for years. Oh yeah, nice. What weapon?
Oh God knows. It was just like when you go, when you go away, when you go onto like a holiday trip somewhere, and it's one of the activities they offer where you've got an instructor to take the lesson for you, and I really loved it. It's actually quite good fun, and it's Olympic sport. Olympic level's great as well at fencing.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it back up. You guys have a company that's been really supportive of a lot of the things that I have done called Leon Paul, and they're out of London, and they are just hands down the best fencing uniform maker. So if you're ever looking to get back in, they have their own training facility, and they make just the best equipment. I've been really grateful to be able to collaborate with them.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so your sword skills also led you to one of our favourite games, which is Star Wars Battlefront. So what was it like working on the game, and how different is it to working on the films?
I mean, I personally wasn't able to work on any of the films, so I can't speak to what the films are like. But I have a lot of experience with the choreography from the movies, working on the games, working on Mythbusters, being trained by the person who invented the sword style of the Jedi at their height. And they've all been unique and different experiences. But working on Star Wars Battlefront, we shot that in Vancouver at what is called the Capture Lab at EA Games facility, which is just a beautiful campus. And the Capture Lab is the largest commercial motion capture facility in the world. So to have that as our playground meant that we were limitless in our capabilities. We didn't have to, see whether or not the computers and cameras could capture what we were doing. We knew that anything we did at any speed was 100% going to be captured flawlessly. And the team there was fantastic in providing us with what we needed to try and bring the fans the best possible, as close to Jedi sword fighting as we can. We really wanted to bring those characters to life.
Yeah. It definitely is a really good game. Have you played it?
Yeah. 1 and 2, they're both really fun. They're some of the best visual games that really have been made. And when it comes to what they did for Star Wars, I mean, they went to the Lucasfilm vault and took reference photos of absolutely everything. They went to the film locations. They took references. They made sure that the game was as accurate as possible, and they did a fantastic job of visually bringing it all together. And fortunately, we're at a point now where the technology of games is able to graphically represent what all these artists have been wanting to show for decades now.
Yeah. Is it cool to see it like doing something and then playing as yourself almost, even though it's not yourself on the actual video game?
It's a little weird, because there's two sides of it. There's my style of sword fighting, particularly my type of lightsaber dance, if you will, which tends to be very fluid, lots of twirling, more acrobatic motions. And then there's the character of Luke Skywalker, which is who I was playing. And first and foremost, the most important thing is not trying to bring what you are to the character. it's capturing, Mark Hamill's character into the game.
Yeah. I suppose you've got to,
so
for
the job was to bring Luke Skywalker to life, and so we captured a wide array of various attacks and blocks. To me, the power and the emotion behind it is as important as anything you can do with the sword. Your role is to portray a character, and Luke Skywalker is more than just what you can do with a lightsaber. So the posture of it, the way that you run, the way that you walk, everything you want to feel is Luke Skywalker. And for me, the most important thing to me is capturing what the fans wanted, bringing the fans the best. I don't want to say product, but bring the fans the best Luke Skywalker that I possibly could. And so that going into it, is about 2 months of studying and training to do the best job that I thought I could.
Yeah, excellent. That's so cool.
Hopefully we were able to capture that in some way.
No,
but it's really fun to work on that. So. Yeah, there were a couple of things where I wanted to be a bit more lavish in some of the moves and be a bit more flashy because it is a video game, and I wanted to not bring something new, but show the capabilities of Luke at his height, because that's not something we get to see very often is Luke once he's been properly trained. And this era is after, Luke has been training with Yoda and all that. So
yeah, he's a full Jedi at this point, isn't he? So which is cool.
So I was able to get a bit more twirly, if you will, with some of the attacks. And I think that carried into Battlefront 2 is where we started. They used a lot more of my motion capture from the first game. That was a bit more acrobatic for the second game. That's where they ended up using what was my favorite thing that we ended up recording, which is like running at full speed while performing like a sweeping block where it's kind of like the blades kind of dancing around me.
I know.
Yeah, and from there I jumped into a 360 spin while doing, it's really hard to describe, basically a twirl where
you don't want to show us.
Take the blade, I spin it around and then I spin it behind my back and then bring it forward into a forward slash. So it's really difficult move to do.
But you managed to pull it off in the end, though,
yeah? It's a kind of thing that when you're running full speed, and one of the things that a lot of people don't know about these is when it comes to motion capture, you're trying to move at a ground speed that the character is going, because that you don't want to have to do any footwork matching. You want, when the foot hits the ground, it's all moving at pace with the character. And so while we were filming this, we had target speeds that we had to hit. This is the walking pace, this is the jogging pace, this is the running pace. And so we had to be able to hit those markers. And for that attack, it was running at full speed into a jumping 360 behind the back, finished with a forward slash. So like, it's fun. Go play the game. You'll see what I mean.
Hats off to you.
Yeah, well done. Well, I'm a massive fan of Battlefront 2 more so than 1, but I love both the games. So we both enjoyed both of them games, didn't we, Steve? So
yeah,
we can't really credit. Well done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
You've done a great job of that.
Yeah. Right. So, getting into Jurassic World. This is where, we start asking a few more questions, a bit more in depth. So, you were the character Leon from Jurassic World. I think that's what it was named. I think it was credited Leon. Yeah.
The name came from the Lego video game, where I was a playable character. I think that was the first time where they actually said my character name. While we were on set, we danced around with a couple different names. The name that I actually originally uh, auditioned with, and this, at least the sides that I was given for the film, they had called the character Luke. But
right.
for obvious reasons, you don't want to actually use that name going into one large franchise, because there's this other franchise that tends to use this name. Can't remember the name of that franchise, but
don't want to get you confused
so
with your twirly dances and
yeah, they kept the first letter and then they ditched the rest and ultimately called the character Leon.
So you did actually record the name for the Lego then? That was your voice over on that one?
No, they used a couple clips from the movie. I don't know whether or not they pulled stuff that was recorded or stuff that was like behind the scenes footage or whatever. And then they had somebody else do a lot of the voiceover for that. So basically they just took, like, I think just a couple of my film recordings and then they just used my likeness for the character. Which to me is like one of the coolest things, to be able to have your likeness made as a, like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, just being in Jurassic is just mind-blowing and ridiculous, but then to have that likeness turned into a Lego character is just like
Did you get a Lego made?
Ever.
Did you get a little Lego man made?
I think it was just for the video game. I'm gonna harass.
Yeah, you should.
Who is this? I think Lego. I don't know who owns Lego or if they're their own company, but I'm gonna have my PR harass them one of these days.
It was.
Yeah.
TT.
Mm. We do know somebody. One of our friends makes personalised Lego characters, so
well, that's awesome.
We'll stay in tune. We'll give you a message if we can get one created.
That'd be super cool. I'd love to have that. I'm not too far from Legoland. Unfortunately, I just can't get over there right now for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But one day I'm gonna go and harass Lego and go and tour the park and get them to give me a
refuse to leave.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving until you give me my own little Lego figure.
Security like dragging you out. I just want a Lego man.
Print off your little picture from the game and just say,
They'll
make
just call the Lego Raptors to get me out of there.
Yeah, that's it. So, Jurassic World, what was it like working on the film?
Insane. I mean, like, you're there and you're there to do a job, and sometimes you just kind of forget that you're there to do work because what's happening is so mesmerizing. Like the first time I got on set, even before then, like the first thing I got there for when I first touched down in New Orleans, they brought me straight to a wardrobe fitting from the airport. And that lasted half a day of trying on a million different outfits and hats and all kinds of things. Actually, no. I don't even think they could do that. I got to think about which order it was. I think that must have been my second time when I landed, because I had to go in for a first visit to New Orleans just to be able to get security clearance and background checks, because we were filming at NASA's assembly facility. So the first thing I actually did for Jurassic was to go and get background checks and clearances to be able to be led on to NASA's facility. We actually all had to have federal IDs walking anywhere on NASA's property, which is where we had the Jurassic. We had the Raptor paddock. A lot of interior shots were done inside the assembly facility, because it's like one of the tallest studio-like facilities that you could possibly find, because they're used to building, like, I don't know, rockets.
Yeah.
So their warehouses tend to be pretty tall.
Yeah.
And they had a couple of other facilities on the on their grounds, and I believe that wardrobe was there as well. So it's really weird to not just be working on Jurassic, but to be working on Jurassic at NASA. Like the complexity of all of it is just wild.
That just adds to the cool factor, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. It solves a lot of the security problems though, because they don't have to worry about like people just walking on the set or anything, because well, nobody's getting into the facility without proper badges and IDs. The security there is excellent, so
Yeah.
I'm sure for budgetary reasons, it's probably helps maintain like set secrecy, which is incredibly important on a big project like that, to a point where our daily sides, which are just like these little packets that they give cast and crew every single day that has like, here's what we're doing today, which will have your call sheet, like here's who's working, here's the scene or shot order for the day, and then it'll have script sides. But normally on basically every other production that I've worked on, everybody just gets the exact same document. It's the call sheet and the daily script sides. But on this one, everybody's sheets had their name printed across it, and only people that vitally needed the actual script sides would get them. So even among the crew working on set, not everybody even could see the script pages that we were working on, and that's the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah. No, that's good. They need something like that. I work, I think, about 2 or 3 miles away from Pinewood Studios in the UK, where they're currently filming Jurassic World Dominion. And the set is probably about, I don't know, 20, 30 feet away from the fence. So although I can't see anything as I drive past, all it's going to take is a drone to go up there and capture everything that's going on. So the fact that you can have all that secret sort of guarding the NASA facility is really good.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's something that they're aware of and looking out for. I know that some productions have had those kinds of issues in the past. I had some friends that worked on the Twilight movies, and they said that there were like paparazzi helicopters flying around set all the time, and that they would have to like cover up the actors' costumes if they had to be moved around outside, because they didn't want anybody to see like their costumes or anything. They were finding like photographers just trying to hide out around the facilities, which I think was Celtic Studios in New Orleans.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. It gets pretty
That's
wild.
that's what happens with hype movies that are such big, blockbusters and stuff, isn't it?
It spoils it though, doesn't it? Jurassic World was one of the first movies that I saw practically nothing leading up to Jurassic World at all. And we went to one of the main cinemas in the centre of London, and I still remember sitting there and having this whole like film of not seeing anything that's going on. I saw one trailer, and I didn't even see what the Indominus Rex looked like until I was sitting there in the screen. And when it finally busted out of its enclosure, it was bloody brilliant. So I'm fully
from
against.
Like that moment on, the film is just non-stop.
It's pretty hardcore from there on, isn't it?
Yeah, as it was like working on the film, I tried my best to stay away from any sort of spoilers. If it wasn't relevant to something that I needed as like an actor, as somebody performing a character, I tried to stay away from any knowledge at all, because that was a film that I had been waiting for 10 years to come out, 15 years.
Yeah. You must have had so many family friends like bugging you for like, what's going on, what's going to happen, like all the time.
Yeah. I mean, while we were filming, you know, it was all secret. Most people didn't even know that I was working on the movie until basically a trailer came out for it. So
Nice little
I
surprise.
forget at what point I was allowed to say that I was in it, but that's literally all I could do is say yes, I'm in that movie,
Yeah, you
and
have like
that's
an
it.
you have to sign like an NDA, don't you? And
Oh
sort of
yeah, and you
Yeah.
have to
there's a
sign that
point.
on like every project, like whether it's
Yeah.
Battlefront or even some of the smaller projects that I've worked on, I've had to sign some NDAs. So it's fairly common in the industry, but there's a difference between an NDA and an NDA, where it's
Yeah.
like you get handed a book.
Yeah.
Um,
And you hand it to your lawyer
yeah.
and go, just read this. Am I okay to sign it?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
and that's like you get handed just on set. Is you're always handed things that need to be signed, and so it's like you're taking phone photos of it and then sending it off to like my agents like, hey, they want me to sign this, is this good? And they're like, it
Yeah.
working on films can just be ridiculous at
Yeah.
times, but there's nothing, I love every bit of it.
Yeah. No, that's good. Um, so getting back to pre Jurassic World, how did you come by the role, and what was like the audition like? Did you have to audition for the part?
Yeah, so I was invited to read for it. um it was Fincannon Associates that I believe is doing that casting. Um, and not everybody had the fortune of knowing what they were reading for. I would say a lot of people read for it, uh, and they might never have even known that they read for Jurassic World. Certain films, I know anything Star Wars or Jurassic, they'll some of the Marvel films will do the same. To where they use working titles and auditions go out as working titles, and the audition sides that you receive are just dummy sides that just kind of parallel whatever's happening, um, to either a small extent or a large. And I was in the fortunate position to at least know what I was auditioning for. And I had literally watched the day before uh, the original Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Just
brilliant.
by
Nice.
happenstance,
Nice.
I had just watched the movie, and so that was pretty funny to me. And knowing I had that audition, and I like got it out, like next day. As soon as I got it, I think I had 3 auditions that I had to tape that day. And so it was just like one of a list. I've got 12 pages I got to bang out today, and one of them's Jurassic Park. So,
Excellent.
um, and for me, at least the way that I look at big franchises, and if there's an established fan base, that's my interest is to go and look at what the fans want, because that's ultimately who these films are for. These fans are for the people that love these franchises, that have grown up with them, like that mean a lot to them, that were there for them. Um, so as an actor, that's where my dedication is for. My dedication is the fans. Um, so going into that audition, it was like scouring the internet trying to find what is it that the fans are looking for in Jurassic World. Where is their nostalgia? What do they want? And for this character, I just kept seeing like Lex and Tim. You know, this is the kid that was thrown into a situation. He's in way over his head, and he's got boots that are way too big for him, but he has to fill them anyway.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what where I saw the character, particularly with Ariana Richards' performance of Lex, because it's like anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
Um, and that was just something that I really related the character to, and I tried to kind of bring that that character into mine without being like Lex. I wanted something that captures that youthful innocence that's just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and it definitely shows.
And then I carried that through in the film. The audition, I saw the parallels of what they were trying to capture. And when it actually came to the filming, it was just the same. I was able to take a look at what Colin Trevorrow had in mind for the character, and make sure that what I was doing was in line with his vision. Because he's the boss and did an excellent job writing these characters, and our job is to just try and help bring their vision to life.
Yeah. Well done for that. I think you did a good job. I like that. That whole scene's excellent. So well done.
Just pig loose. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
it was a really fun character to play. I don't have a whole lot of lines in it, but it's like the first real peril in the movie.
Yeah.
And so it causes a real big shift of we go from the awe and excitement of the park is real and experiencing it with Zach and Gray.
Yeah.
We're like the kids going into the park, and then this is the behind the scenes, the stuff they don't show. And so that's where I get literally thrown into the pit.
Yeah.
So
when you say literally, were you literally thrown off that end?
Okay, maybe not me literally. My character was literally thrown into the pit. It was Patrick Steinberg who was my stunt double for the movie, and he's the one who did the fall into the paddock.
Okay.
My roots are very grounded in stunts, but when it comes to stuff like that, there's no way they would let me do a 35-foot high fall as an actor. Like
that's pretty cool.
Just not gonna happen with their insurance. Like no. It's a huge production risk, and stunt people are very crucial to what we do as actors, to what we do as filmmakers. I think that stunt people don't get enough credit for what they do, particularly with action films. You've got Mad Max, which won, Oscars, and that was just an action. That was a film by stunt people, and they they got next to no credit at all the award ceremonies for all the work that they did. So I think stunt people are very vital, and Patrick did an incredible job of not just being able to perform dangerous things on my character's behalf, but to be able to listen and talk about the character, because for us as actors, it's important to have good stunt people because they're representing us as an actor. They're representing the character, but they're also representing us because people think that is us. And if our stunt double doesn't perform well, and I've experienced this, like it's tough because you want to make sure that your stunt double is not making you as an actor look bad. I've had experiences real early on where it's like I had a stunt double on a unnamed project that just wasn't listening to like I had to do something, and which direction I was facing was really important cinematically, to whereas like something that I wanted to work out with the director and the cinematographer to make sure that we could capture their vision, and the stunt double just wasn't listening. And I was like, hey, we want to go and talk to the cinematographer first to figure out which way we want to do a stunt, because it will impact the way that they shoot the film. And my stunt double thought that was over the top and not important until the cinematographer came over and decided to tell him what was going on. I'm trying real hard to like dance around the project because I
That's
don't
all
want
right.
to like
Yeah,
call
no,
anybody out
That's fun.
specifically.
No,
Everybody
We
has a
can, we
job
can,
to do.
that's all right. We can move on if you
Yeah.
like. That's right. You've told us a fair bit. The stunt double this time round obviously did a good job. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had to ask a
Yeah,
question. So there you go.
absolutely. Like if I
We
need
can leave it there, can't we?
in the future, or if anybody needs a stunt person, hit up Patrick Steinberg because
there you
he's a
go.
good guy. He got nominated for um SAG award for Jurassic. I think it was best stunt ensemble.
Nice.
Okay.
Got nominated.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what was it like working with Chris Pratt and Omar Sy then?
Oh boy. It was really a joy working on that set. Just Chris, Omar, Vincent, and another one that a lot of people don't know was around set the entirety that we were filming was Jack Horner, who's the paleontologist for the films.
Yeah.
He actually has a cameo
On the top.
in the raptor paddock.
Mm.
And so when you're filming, particularly in Louisiana, you have really long, hot days. So we spent almost all our downtime in like the cooling tent, which is just a bunch of cast chairs in this small space, and we just talked for hours and hours every single day for weeks.
Nice.
So everybody got to know each other really well, and you couldn't pick a better group of people to be in a room with for hours a day. Like everybody has a unique and interesting background and life story, and you just talk about your work and your interests, and then you also spend hours every single day talking with Jack Horner about dinosaurs and the creation of like Earth and
Everything.
all like you will talk about layers of rocks and how they've developed and shifted over millions of years, and 3 hours will go by and you won't even notice.
Did he talk about his Chickensaurus?
Yeah. I learned a lot of things. I'm not sure what's allowed to be talked about, but I learned some truly fascinating things about that project while we were filming.
Yeah.
Nothing short of genetic marvel those chickens are.
Yeah.
Right, so obviously the raptors were CGI in the film. What was it like working to people in leotards and helmets on?
Amazing. Yeah. Hats off to James and
Oh, thanks.
all the different James, but yeah, you too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So we had the four raptors that were played by professional dancers and like stunt people that they hired to play the raptors. There were these gray leotards with bicycle helmets in the shape of a raptor head, and so they're crawling around and being the raptors while we're on set. They provide us our eye lines. They chase us when we're on the ground. It's really vital to us. It enhances our performance to be able to have that. We're not just looking at a green screen. We're not just looking at. There's something we can make eye contact with. Whether it's rehearsals or whether we're filming. Sometimes they have to change up the shot depending on what it is that ILM needs to be able to do the CGI afterwards. But to be able to work with them was a joy, and they did a scarily good job of playing these raptors. You'll see them joke around. They'll just like sneak up on one another, and you just see them walking around set, just waddling like a bunch of raptors. It's just a lot of fun. You have a lot of downtime on set, and what inspires people to do the things that they do in their off time is just fascinating.
I would have loved to have been
It's
a fly
really
in the
great
wall.
to see, like,
Yeah.
when we've got like a little break, to see just a bunch of dudes in leotards with bicycle helmets just like passed out underneath the shade of a Jurassic World tent, or ducking behind a one of the Jurassic World Mercedes Jeeps. Like,
Oh, it sounds
everything that
brilliant.
you do is just, it's like a feast for your eyes.
What was one of your favourite moments on or off set that you can probably remember? Something that's maybe funny?
Yeah. I mean, there are so many stories from set. One of them was uh I gave Nick Rob pretty much like, whenever there was a long pause, if they were going to turn around camera or whatever, if the cast and crew knew that there was like 45 minutes to an hour break while things are getting set up, which takes a lot of time, pretty much everybody would light up cigars. And like, that was just the thing on set. And so I had brought just a tin of some decent cigars, and just this one day, I had given Nick Robinson his first cigar, and he yeah, he had like never had a cigar before, and there's like this really great photo of just everybody. Colin, Omar with his cigarettes, and Chris, just everybody just standing around with cigars. And then once we broke to get back to filming, um, Nick still had his cigar, and he just kind of forgot that he just had it in his hand. And so they're in the one of the G wagons, and so they're filming, and they get started, and Chris is driving, and then Nick realizes that he has he still has like the lit cigar in his hand, like, they like already call action. The
Nick, you're supposed to be a
Mercedes is
kid.
already rolling. He's like, "Oh God, I've smoked this cigar. What do I do?" It was like either Chris or
That's
Kara
hilarious.
Mann, who was Ty Simpkins' photo double, who was this is after Ty had already wrapped for the day, and Kara had taken over doing his photo doubling inside the car. Someone's like, "Just throw it out the window," and so we're just sitting, and you just see like a cigar just go flying out the back one of the Mercedes.
That's a quality story. I love it.
Well, that one.
That is, when of all the stories I could have imagined you telling, that is the one I would never ever would have thought of ever. It's so random. It's brilliant. No, I love it. Okay. Was all of your roles filmed on one location?
Yeah. So all of mine was at the Raptor paddock, which we filmed at like kind of like this big open area alongside some woods in at the NASA facility. And what they did to that space was wild. They brought in like 100-foot coconut palm trees.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got them in there. They're not native to Louisiana. These are like 100-foot tall, tropical, lush trees, and they just brought in a bunch of them for the Raptor paddock, and they're just everywhere. And it's like they just stuck us in the middle of Hawaii, even though we're in, the outskirts of New Orleans. It was
Nice.
wild. I don't
That's so
know
cool.
how they got this in. You can't drive those. They're like way too big to fit in the road. I don't know if they got them here on a boat and then shipped them in. I props off to whoever had to do logistics for that.
That's pretty cool. Did you ever get to travel to the UK or to Hawaii at all?
No, I didn't get to work on those locations. I heard nothing but beautiful things of them. The
This
shots
is
were
just
gorgeous.
dangling a carrot for you. Just
Yeah. No,
by the way,
but
this is the best place, but
what I did get to see, honestly, I'm more grateful than I would have been if I was able to go and see those. And that was to walk around the Main Street set when there's like 1,000 extras walking around.
Yeah.
We were doing some B footage. We were working with a B unit for helicopter shots because you really have to be careful with your scheduling around helicopters because they're very expensive and there's only like 3 pilots in the world that can do what cinematographer like pilots do.
really, wow,
Yeah, it's a real short list of people who fly the camera helicopters.
that's interesting.
That's
They're
crazy.
like the best pilots in the world and get shots that nobody else can.
Wow, okay, I
Um,
never knew that.
yeah, a really good example of what these pilots do is go and look at the Italian Job, where they're
Yeah.
flying a helicopter in a tunnel. That's real. They did all that, and that's like those are
It's
the film
mental.
pilots. That's what they do. They do
Yeah.
anything and everything to get these shots. And so we were working with the helicopters, which they're just getting those establishing shots, and then the shot where I get off the ground and brush myself off after just coming with a near-death experience with the Raptors.
Yeah.
And so that's that like camera flying away angle that they shot.
That's well good.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
their insurance must have been through the roof, like doing all that
yeah.
stuff. Could you imagine?
They're not flying underneath a tunnel in Los Angeles level of insurance for that shot, but I'm sure it's still pretty up there because once we were done filming over there, me and Patrick, my stunt double, they brought us over to base camp, which was being held at Six Flags New Orleans, like the abandoned Six Flags facility, and that's where the Main Street set was. It was in the parking lot.
So cool.
And because it was it was helicopter day, they needed as many extras as they could get for that shot, and so they had like 1,000+ extras. And so between takes, like we were just allowed to go and walk around and experience Jurassic World for
So
real.
good.
We're walking around just looking at all these people standing around this multi-acre set where you've got a working Starbucks, a working Jamba Juice, a two-story Margaritaville, an IWC watch shop. Like,
we're insanely jealous.
So wild to see. You had, I think they called it Jurassic Traders.
That's it.
Which is like the little, they're like the merchandise store, and they had things in there like that. I don't know if they ever licensed products that maybe never made it to market. They had cool T-shirts, just details that you would have to film a movie that's a week long to be able to capture the amount of detail that these artists put into this film. Like you'll go and you'll see one of these like the little vendors, and they're Jurassic World peeps, like the little marshmallow candies inside. It's like
the minor details you would never think. Yeah, that's crazy. That's incredible, really, isn't
it? And it's so it hurts to know that like people will never even get to see that, like that level of detail that all these artists put hundreds of thousands of hours into creating. It would be really cool, like with VR and everything that we have technologically available to us today. It would be super cool if they could just make something where we could just virtually walk around and experience that set somehow, because it was insane. Like I've never seen anything like it, and I'd be very lucky to see something like that again.
One of our friends has actually created a video game, I think it's called Jurassic Explorer, and they have done a 3D render of the whole of Main Street. and that's pretty detailed, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's as close as we've come to.
Yeah, you
I'll
can't.
have to see
You
that.
can't.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or one of our videos on our channel, I do an exploration of it. You can go on, you can walk down Main Street, go to the T-Rex Kingdom, go over to the Mosasaurus Lagoon. You can see the monster come out and grab the shark and everything, and it's all done digitally like a video game. But the only thing you can't do is enter into the shops. But you can go and innovate. You can go into the big innovation center at the end. It's really, really well done. It's called Jurassic Explorer for those if you want to check that out.
We'll send you the link as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, so obviously you're a big Jurassic World and Jurassic Park fan. How do you rank the movies yourself? From favourite to least favourite.
Don't worry, we struggle with this.
This isn't even the quiz yet. You got.
That's a hard. See, the other ones are like I have to know the answer to something. Here, I have to come up with the answer. I like. I'm gonna have to put Jurassic World at number 1, but that's definitely biased. That's from
your
personal experience.
You're allowed to. You are allowed to.
I got to live that movie, so you know, as great as the IMAX, 70 millimeter wide angles were, I got to see it with my own 2 eyes. So I'm gonna put that number 1. I'm gonna put the original Jurassic Park as number 2. I'm gonna Lost World number 3.
Yeah.
I'll probably put Fallen Kingdom at number 4, and then Jurassic Park 3 and 5th at the moment.
Yeah,
that's pretty much standard across the board. That
is a respectable list, to be honest. For me, Jurassic
they're
World,
all like unique. It's so hard because like there are things about every single movie that I think it really glanced over. I had seen the third one fairly recently, and it's like they're like I'd never caught any like the Jack Horner references in 3 before. That was pretty funny to me.
Yeah, and you got did you get around to watching Battle of Big Rock? The short movie.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, it was cool. It's different.
Yeah, very different.
I think, and that one I believe Colin directed. If I'm not mistaken, I think he directed that.
Did Emily Carmichael write that one? I think that might have been one of her first projects that she wrote. I really loved it. I thought it was really, really good. Kind of leads us into what the next film might be, to what to expect,
Yeah, and I honestly have no idea what to expect.
So you're going into the next one completely open, like us, really, as a fan.
Yeah,
that's
which
pretty
is
cool.
Cool.
That is cool.
It's Fallen Kingdom. I knew a little bit about just because it had just the concept of it had been loosely talked about, not while we were filming, but I think just talking with like other cast and people like that.
Yeah, obviously when you're chatting to the director, do they give anyone, when you're filming, obviously for film number 1, do you have any idea where the movie might be going at all, or is it literally you just told to focus on your scene and that's it?
I was trying to stay away from spoilers. There were a couple concepts that were loosely talked about that like the cast liked to talk about. One of which was like obviously Hoskins is trying to create, these war monsters out of the raptors. He's coming from like a military perspective, and so just the has like the cast. We have a lot of downtime to talk, and that was such a super interesting topic. Is if engineered animals were brought into war, how would that change the dynamics? And that you could just go down a whole rabbit hole just with that topic alone.
Yeah, definitely.
Let alone make movies off of it. Yeah.
So
I think that would be an interesting movie to write. Maybe if not even necessarily something Jurassic, but just
Mm.
a film in general would be
Just the concept of it.
really interesting to talk about genetically modified warriors. You know?
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Um, so that scene where the whole button pushing, how many times did you have to go over that one before
Uh,
the
Probably three
moment
or
that you
four.
release the
Not too
raptors?
many times. That was my last day on set
Oh,
when we
really?
filmed it.
Oh,
It was like after that, they just called like, um, when somebody ends a film, they're like, that's a wrap for so and so. And so once they got that in the books and they knew that they had shot that, they called picture wrap for me.
Uh,
And that was like,
it was a good way send off, wasn't it?
yeah, it's hard though. Like you don't want to say goodbye. Like
yeah.
it was just you work with all these people for 12 hours a day,
Mm.
for weeks. Even for as little as I shot, that was still a lot of days of filming to catch for me, which is probably like 5 minutes of screen time. So much work goes into things. I think a lot of people they picture what it's like to create these films, but the amount of time that you spend and the amount of people that are on set, I swear I counted like 50 ILM people on set one day
Wow.
just doing measurements and all
Jesus.
kinds of stuff. Like
Crazy.
it's you will have like over 100 people on set some days just for crew.
It'd be interesting
And
to see.
everybody does something important to be there.
It'd be interesting to see what it's like on set at the moment due to this COVID, because I know they're having a lot of restrictions of people on set.
Yeah, I imagine it has to be as skeleton of a crew as possible.
Yeah,
Um, and that's hard because everybody's job is important, and then you have to do things differently. And we've been. It's like movies are like clockwork. There's everybody has very specific jobs that they do, and they all do them very well. And that's probably significantly changed the amount of um, camera people you have on set, the amount of angles that you might shoot from, the amount like how do you handle craft services and food and um, our union has put out some paperwork of what their guidelines are, and I can't even imagine having to follow all those guidelines. Everything from like testing to quarantine to making sure that people in the hotel are quarantined if you're using hotels.
yeah.
Um,
No sharing
it's
cigars with
just
other
wild.
people.
No,
Yeah.
no, I imagine that's probably not that
Gonna
might not be
happen.
happening
Yeah.
right now.
That's still the most random story ever. I can't believe that. That's brilliant. I love that story. Okay, lastly, are you looking forward to the extended universe that is coming out in Netflix, the Camp Cretaceous? Have you heard much about that, or looking
I've
forward to
heard a
seeing that?
little bit about of it. You probably know more than I do. I'm certainly looking forward to like anything Jurassic that comes out is always
yeah, is it
Yeah.
kind of
always
like
cool.
your
Like it's just adding to the story.
yeah, yeah? I
Yeah.
think for all you know, they might even pull your character into it because it's supposed to be set during Jurassic World sort of time. So it could be you could see Raptor Paddock. I don't know whether it's post Indominus Escape or pre Indominus Escape. So we don't really know an awful lot about it yet. I know it's out in September, I believe.
Hmm.
That's about pretty much it. We're not even had a
Yeah.
trailer, so it could just drop. It could just drop any time, and we don't know. But yeah. Anyway, that's the last question we have. We're just yeah. So it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the channel, and
Thank you.
we'd like to wish you all the luck with all your future projects.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate it.
we'd love to catch up another time, maybe some other time.
Yeah, it's been really great. There's so much to cover from just what I would say just a really short experience of my life. And it's wild how many stories I have just from a few weeks. It's amazing, like,
Yeah.
working on these films, you really appreciate how much life experience can be packed in a matter of days.
Yeah.
And so for me, working on a project like that always reminds me of how much we can do and how much can still be done. And so those are the things I look forward to. Those are like the moments in life that mean a lot to me. And it's super cool to be able to at least tell what I've experienced to the people that live and breathe this stuff. And as somebody who's been, like a lifelong fan of Jurassic, I've been super fortunate to be able to work on Jurassic and all the other projects, Star Wars, and
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had a nice career.
Yeah.
So far.
It's got to feel nice to see your name on the credits.
It's not too bad. I look forward to what the future brings.
Yes. Okay, so guys, this is James's mystery character quiz. Steve knows nothing about this, and Colby knows nothing about this. Basically, the rules are, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to tell you 5 clues. You have a choice to answer based on one of my clues who you think the character is. If you answer the question, you answer my clue and you get it wrong, you are frozen out until I tell you the next clue, and then you can answer after that. Okay? So, here goes. The first clue of my mystery character is I wear a hat.
Well, that narrows it down.
I know. Well, it does narrow it down a little bit. Not everyone wears hats. The second clue is I only appear in one movie, one of the movies. I only appear in one of the movies. Clue number 3. I am knowledgeable on dinosaurs. Okay, so far I wear a hat, I only appear in one movie, and I am knowledgeable on dinosaurs. So you're going to get thrown into prison now.
Paleontologist from 3. I forget the dude's name because I'm so bad with names and I can't do it, but hopefully that's enough to count.
The paleontologist from
3.
From Jurassic Park 3. It is not the paleontologist from Jurassic Park 3. Okay, so Steve was almost thinking.
Oh, sorry, because there was a one too. Lost World. The dude who's got the hat, and he's got the beard. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I already ruined that. Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking of the second one, and there's no paleontologist.
Okay.
Except for Sam Neill.
Okay, so Steve, he's almost given you a clue there. The next clue is I get eaten by a T-Rex. And the final clue, my famous line is, it's a snake, it's a snake. What is the name of that character?
What is his name?
You're now back in Colby, because I said.
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember his name. I remember the scene.
I know.
I know it's a coral snake.
And I think
I can remember the name of the snake.
Yeah, yeah. He was named after the real paleontologist, Robert Bakker.
Oh no. I should know this.
Okay, I'm going to give you 5 seconds each to have a think. And I'll give you the answer. 3.
Alright, I can see.
1.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
Okay, Dr. Robert Burke.
Oh.
I know. Okay, next question, next clue. I am female. I am a fan. My voice went funny. I am a fan favourite. I may return in Jurassic World Dominion.
May?
I may return in Jurassic World Dominion. Okay, so far I'm a female. I am a fan favourite. I may return in Jurassic World Dominion. Anyone want to venture a guess?
Is it Lex Murphy?
No, frozen out. Next clue. Steve can't answer.
What was the last clue because I couldn't hear
Okay.
it.
I may return for Jurassic World Dominion is the last clue. Okay. The next clue is I appear quite colourful. I'll go through the clues again. I am female. I am a fan favourite. I may return in Dominion, and I appear quite colourful.
Appear quite colorful.
Mm.
That's the one that throws me.
Mm. It's designed to throw people. can't be too easy. You're up against Steve here. Got to make it hard for him.
And what did he already guess?
He said Lex Murphy,
Lex.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, final clue.
Dr.
This is gonna give it away. I'm venomous.
Rexy.
Frozen out. Rexy is
What?
not venomous.
Oh, what am I thinking?
Okay, so Colby, this is just think about this. Okay, so it's venomous. It can't be a human. I'm female. I'm a fan favourite. I may return in Jurassic World Dominion. I appear quite colourful, and I'm venomous.
I was looking at your bloody background.
The thing.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of it.
Okay. Oh, you can't remember the name. Okay, I'll let you have the point. I'll let you have the point if
No,
you can
it's
remember. If you can remember its nickname.
Does it begin with the D? I don't know.
It does begin with a D.
Yeah.
I don't want to give you the answer because I know Steve knows it, so I don't want to. I want you to get it.
Yeah. All I remember.
You're gonna concede this point.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna get any further than that.
Okay, Steve.
Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus. It's the answer. Well done.
I
Okay.
wouldn't have guessed that.
Would
I
you
would
not?
have just been like, yeah, I don't remember.
Okay.
I
Fine,
guessed
fine.
Rexy for being venomous, so.
Yeah, that was a pretty dumb thing to say, to be honest. Okay, the last one. The last mystery character. I am slim built. I appear in one of the new Jurassic World movies.
Repeat that.
I am slim built. I appear in one of the new Jurassic World movies. I work around dangerous animals.
Me?
It's you! You're right!
No!
So you finish on 1-1. The next just for the listeners, okay? The next question was I shouldn't be in charge of pigs. And then the last one was I released the raptors. So you would have got it from the next. You would have got it from the next two questions, wouldn't you? Next two clues.
Yeah, I think I
Anyway.
would have.
There you go. So it finished best out of 3. You finished 1-1.
Well done, Kobe.
So there you go. If you could virtually shake hands, I'd say do it. Anyway, that is the end of James's mystery character quiz.
Thank you.
Right, guys, that is the end of the show. And thanks for watching. Only one thing left to say. Life
No, we'll find a way.
find a way. See you later.
See you later.